Okay, today I'm going to go over watercolor. Watercolor paint is very light and see-through, so if you are drawing in pencil, draw lightly because it won't cover up the pencil marks. You'll end up with pencil marks no matter what. That's why you need to draw as light as you can. You also want to make sure your paper is stretched for your good project, or you're going to get a lot of buckling with your paper. To mix your paints, you need a cup of water. You need some soft brushes. You don't want stiff ones. Well, I guess you could try stiff ones. You need your paint. You need a palette. The watercolor palettes have the wells to them. They're all numbered. This is number 18. This is paint number 18. They are by your computer number or iPad number, whatever you want to say. Eyedropper, which is also numbered by your iPad number or computer number. And those are the basics that you need to get started. So the first thing you're going to do is get an eyedropper full of water and drop it into one of the wells. You can either use these circle wells or the rectangular wells, doesn't matter which. And then you're going to take one of your soft brushes, get it wet, and then you can roll it. See, I'll do blue. Roll it in your paint. You're not digging at the paint. You're not trying to like scoop a bunch out. You're just gently rolling it to make your paint. See, I spilled a little water, so I'm going to dry that up a little bit with some paper towels. Paper towels will soak up your watercolor paint too if you want, if it needs to. So the first thing I'm going to show you, I'm just going to get a little bit of paint on my brush that I mixed with the water, not the straight paint out of the tray, and I'm just going to do a nice even coating. So I start at the top, and I just go back and forth, dragging the puddle down. And when I get to a point where I'm running out of paint, a water puddle, I pick up more paint out of my mixed paint, and I start where I left off. And I don't leave any space. I go right next to it. Nice and easy. And you can see it's pretty light. That is a very light blue. You can just barely see a difference between the paper and the blue. Then I'm going to clean out my brush. I have some red already mixed. So I'm going to take a different brush, a different soft brush. I'm going to take that red, and since this is still wet, I'm going to put a line through there, and you can see it's starting to get fuzzy edges. It's not keeping its nice crisp line. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. You can see they're kind of mixing. It's not wet enough, it's too dry. Oh, there it goes, that one's spreading. So if you want it to spread out, this is called bleeding, make sure the one layer is still wet, and put some paint on top of it, and it will bleed out, it'll mix. If you don't want it to mix, you've got to make sure it's completely dry between layers. So I have some red that I painted the first layer of. I want to preserve some of that red, so I put a piece of white tape. White tape is a little less sticky than the masking tape, so I put a piece of white tape on over here to preserve that light red. So it's light red underneath where I put that tape. I just make sure it's stuck down well. I also put down some masking fluid. It looks like this. This is masking fluid. You got to shake it up really well, and then unscrew the top, and then pour it, squeeze it out where you want it to go. This will get you a thinner line. You can also use rubber cement. Make sure this is cleaned off before you go and put it back on, because you want to make sure it will close back up and be preserved. Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush with the red. I'm going to pick up that red and water that I already mixed, and I'm going to go over this a second time. So that masking fluid is completely dry. I'm going to make sure that I have that completely dry or it won't work very well. So I do add a second layer. The masking fluid, once your paint is dry, you just take an eraser and rub it off. Should probably wait till this is dry as well, but I'm going to go ahead and peel it up so you can see the difference. And it ripped my paper some, so now I have some ripped paper. That's okay. My paper must not have been completely dry. And you can see the lighter color and the brighter color. So, if you want a stronger color, you have to do it in layers. It's not just going to be a quick, go straight from the paint container. You can't go straight from the paint container to here. It's not going to work. It wouldn't be watercolor then. You have to go straight to there. You can do splatter paint, similar to acrylic paint. So you load up some of your paint, and you can mix colors too. So I think I'll make a violet now. I'm going to load up some paint, and then just tap away. Kind of let it lightly tap and you'll spread out. You can do paper towel blot. So if I paint an area, and you want to move fairly quickly with paper towel blot, and then I take and crumple up a piece of paper towel. It'll make a texture in there. I only remove some of it. It's still a light blue, which is hard to see in here, but it's still a light blue in there. And then you got the darker blue right there, and the white of the paper. So there are some techniques that you can use to make different textures. And then you can experiment with salt. You can experiment with probably some dry brush maybe. Just kind of have fun with it and see what you can come up with.